I'm Chip Townsend, and this is the Team Chip Podcast. All right, guys, welcome back to the Team Chip Podcast. We are back again. I have my partner in crime, Glyn Ann, with me today. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So today we're going to talk about
how to make people feel comfortable faster.
Keep Chip out of the room. That's step one. Keep Chip out of the room.
Rule number one. No, not really. Okay. Funny story on that. Whenever we realized, we have our oldest daughter, whenever she was a baby, there was a time frame. I don't even know why we did it, that you shaved your head.
Because you told me you wanted me to shave my head.
I was like, hey, that looks cool. It wasn't like you were balding. I mean, I don't know. But you shaved your head, and we realized, we're not signing people up. Like, people are going,
yeah.
And we realized that it was because you were very intimidating looking with a bald head.
Well, that's what we were told. So, yeah, I vividly remember that. It was about a 1.5 year period, right around the time Lexi was born. You were like, hey, you should shave your head one day. And I was like, I'll shave my head. So I shaved my head.
Yeah,
and kept it that way for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, and, I think the school's doing fine, but I started growing my hair back, and it was kind of filling back in, looking more, like I had hair again. And we had this great month of new students and trials and signups, and it was like, wow. And I mentioned that in front of someone in the lobby one day. This has been a really good month. We had a lot of new students coming in. And they went, yeah, because everyone was scared to death of you with a bald head. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and there is that causation, correlation, all that, I don't know, but we were convinced it was bald head. But we digress.
We digress.
Okay, so that is not our topic. Not to say that if you have a bald head that all bets are off.
All right, so helping new students feel comfortable faster. First impressions matter. It's so important, the impression people get right away, right?
Absolutely. One of the things that we do is whenever they walk in the door, there is a welcome sign with their name on it, their favorite word, right? You have heard that. Their favorite word is their name. So their name, and it's really their parents' favorite word, because usually it's up higher.
Their favorite words are their name?
Their name.
The words their name?
Oh my gosh.
Or hearing their name. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. I had to mess with you. All right. So, we get people walking through the door, and a lot of times I think we fail to realize too that they're nervous, right?
They are.
They're walking into kind of an unknown, especially I don't think it's near as bad, maybe I'm wrong, as it was whenever I was a kid, because a lot of times you walked up to a martial arts school, it was a little, dark and dungeon-esque and,
Smelly.
Windows covered and smelled funky when you walked in and things like that, right? And most schools are more professional than that. But still, people come in with that. A little bit of fear, a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of anticipation.
Well, I know it's something new, and God, am I going to look that? I think, a big concern we have to be sure that we understand is we think that it's just kids that are going to be shy and not and feel like they're going to look funny, but it's adults too.
Oh,
and I think
absolutely.
really probably even more so with adults, because with kids it's like, oh, they'll forget about that, they're 7. But with adults it's like, oh, everybody is looking at me. When you finally, I think back to realizing, I read it somewhere in some book, I have no idea where, but that whenever you realize that everybody that you're worried about let me think of how to say this. When you think that everybody is thinking about you and what you do, when you realize that they're actually thinking the same thing, it's very freeing when you realize people are not really actually spending their day thinking about, so-and-so did class last night and they looked really awkward because they are so uncoordinated. You have in your mind.
All they're thinking is, I looked so awkward in class.
Exactly. You have in your mind that's what that everybody is going to remember.
Focused on you.
And yes. And you realize that when people are really not focused on you, they're focused on themselves.
Sad to let you know, you are not that important.
That's right.
And when we all have that realization, it's like, dang, just air left my sails, right?
Right.
Well, the students walk in with uncertainty, but parents too, right? And they're evaluating everything that they see, is everything that they smell.
Right.
They're looking everywhere. And they're worried about things like you said already, but I don't want to look silly. I don't want to do something wrong and be called out or be singled out. I don't want to not fit in. And I'll tell you, one of the big worries, I think in my mind for adult students is injuries. You know, I just don't want to get hurt. It looks fun, but I can't get hurt. You know why? Because I got to go back to work tomorrow to support my family, right? So
right. And even if they think, it's a great workout, it's actually going to give me skills that I really want to learn, but then that the fear factor is absolutely legitimately there.
Absolutely. So as a school owner, whenever people come in, I think it's just a good general rule to know that people are already going to probably be a little nervous, a little uncomfortable walking into that unknown, right? And so, what do we do about that? It's kind of like in my head, I think about driving. I know I've said this 1,000 times probably, but I'm going to be driving thousands of miles in my lifetime, and statistically, I'm going to get someone pulling out in front of me. Why get mad about it? So when we know that, it helps us to be calm and be kind of prepared and have a plan of action. If someone does pull out, I've got a little plan for, I know when I'm driving up and there's road construction ahead and I see cars starting to stop, I'm already kind of looking for where's my exit if the guy behind me don't stop, right? Can I leave room to get myself out? So when we know those things ahead of time and we know that people are coming in potentially a little nervous, a little uncomfortable, we need to be prepared for that, and we need to be so calm and at peace that it just oozes off on them too, I think.
Right. It's that, that matching and mirroring, you're excited to see them, but you also are not so boisterous that you actually intimidate them, that they're like, oh my gosh, you're bringing a calm and an excitement to see them and a welcoming, but not overbearing.
Absolutely. So, I think you said this a while ago, but one of the first things we have is we have a counter right inside the front door of our main location, and our new satellite we're opening, we're doing the same thing. But when a new student is signed up for a trial, we have them fill out a form. We kind of know what's going on. We have a welcome sign with their name on it right away. People love to hear their name. And, that first 5 minutes they walk in the building is so, so important that we don't fake the impression, but just make a good impression. Be professional, right?
And we pay attention to what the people that are greeting them are wearing. Is it very obvious that I work here? They don't need to walk in and not scanning the room to try to figure out who actually works there, because everybody's wearing whatever they want to wear. Everybody is in branded Team Chip attire. It's they know, it's kind of like going into Best Buy and that you're looking for the blue shirts. Were you thinking Best Buy? I
was about to say, it's like that time I wore a blue shirt into Best Buy and had like 3 people ask me for help.
Yes. Yeah. Because they're like, okay, I'm finding a blue shirt. Somebody help me out.
Right. People come in and they see the Team Chip logo on the chest, or that, something that sets it out, sets them apart. Right?
Absolutely. But, we also, we're constantly looking for ways to improve and tighten this. And a few, probably 8 months ago, we realized our front desk was actually positioned in a place that people had to look for it. It was over in a corner. And so we moved it. And we had it in a place that it was functional for us, but it was not welcoming for the people that were coming in. And so we made changes. And I don't think, it's real easy to be like, well, this is just how the building is laid out. This is how we're going to do it. And you have to take those things into consideration, because whenever somebody walks in the door, they're already nervous. And if they can't find, you're already giving this, it's just a feeling that you get, but it's just that, I'm uncomfortable here. I don't know what I'm doing. And it just kind of, it builds that sense of, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm asking for. I don't know what,
Yep, that trepidation. So, it's funny. I was just sitting here thinking as you were talking about, getting the welcome desk just in the right place to make, what a highly overlooked and small thing that must appear to be to people.
Right.
Yeah. When we're a martial arts school.
Right.
But it's the small things that make the big differences. It's the small things. It's the details that matter. And that's so important. And anyway, when you were talking about, moving the desk to where it's in just the right spot, that's one of those little, we call them 1% things. We're always looking for those 1% things that we can do to improve the experience.
Right.
The experience for the student, the client, the people, and the people that have been with us for 25 years that are like our family. We still look to improve what they're doing. So what are some things we can do quickly to make people comfortable whenever they come in? Learn the student's name. We talk about having the sign up, but use it. Sometimes I love this, and I don't do this a lot because I'm not up in the front a lot when they're coming in, but I'll see the sign and a kid will walk in and I'll go, okay, they're here for class. And I'll go, hey, are you Susie? And they're like, whoa,
Exactly.
right away, like they know my
Exactly.
name.
Exactly.
And teach your team, make sure that you're using their name. Introduce people when they come in right away to some of the staff and team and to the instructors. I'm thinking about just this week, actually. We had an event class day happening in the school where we had a lot of guests on the mat, and I was on the mat with my kids in this class, and we were doing it was during an adult class, and I look over and there's a young man wearing some kind of board shorts that look like kind of MMA shorts. They have the little Venom logo on them, and he's standing there, and we're in the middle of class. I'm dripping sweat, working with the kids, and we're having kind of a fun class day, by the way. And so I just walked over. Hey, man, my name's Chip. How's it going? It's nice to meet you. And you could see him. He's like, oh, you're Chip? I'm like, I am. And just started smiling really big. And you could see his kind of guard go down and relaxed a little bit. Like, it's just so important that we go up. And he's like, yeah, my name's, it was, I think Mark or something. And I was like, hey, Mark, it's so nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. And anyway, just how quick can we help to make them comfortable? But it was almost palpable with him where he seemed kind of tense and he just relaxed, and it was like, cool. And then we had a great conversation. He asked me a couple of questions, and then after class, I grabbed him right away, walked him through the entire building, and he's looking at it and he's like, wow, this is so cool. I just had no idea this was here. And so anyway, and I took him around and introduced him to some of the team as well. Like, hey, Aiden was in one of the rooms. Like, that guy's been with us since he was 4 years old. Of course, he's, in his 20s now. And that guy's been with us since he's 7 and he's almost 30. And, he's like, holy cow, by the time he came to the front, I, in my mind, felt like if this guy doesn't sign up for classes, I'll be mind boggled by this. Because he was so enjoying, just seeing the building and seeing some of the faces. And I'll tell you another thing that I think was important in that was I struggle with this a little bit because I don't want it to seem egotistical, but like, when I looked over and I saw Aiden, he was actually cleaning because he had just finished teaching a kid class. I'm like, hey, hey, this is Mr. Aiden. He's one of our instructors, and he's the brother to the instructor that was teaching the class that I was just in. And, he's been with us since he was 4 years old, and you can just see this big smile. And he's like, and he says, that's so cool. Yeah. And anyway, so.
Well, I mean, think about it. How many, if you, step back from martial arts, aside from people that, within your schools, think about how many people do you know that have done something since they were 4 that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s?
Especially like an extracurricular type activity.
Right. Or even or studied anything for that amount of time. So that is a significant thing. Well, I think, one of the things that I hope everybody is seeing is that all of the episodes that we've talked about culture and we've talked about training your leadership team and all of that really kind of, it culminates, and it is important in this because, you're training your leadership team to not just be approachable, but to make the approach to be the people that set the pace. Well, then that trickles over into your students that are not quite leadership team yet, so that whenever you have those new families come in, that it's not just that they're welcoming the student, which a lot of times is a child, but they're also welcoming the parents.
Right.
And we love, we tell our people that are scheduled for like a trial or for coming in for that first class that we want them to be able to see what is happening on the mats.
Right. Because
that's our product. But we also, we want them to see how the instructors interact with the kids, but we also want them to be able to sit and, let our parents who love what we do sitting at the side, tell them about it.
That's awesome. And it's funny. Go ahead.
And it's not solicited. It's not like, okay, I'm going to sit them strategically by this person. We just go, you know what?
Where you land, you land.
That's right.
And we trust it'll go well.
Yes. And so that's also part of the reason that we don't have technology at the side, that we ask that our parents not be buried in a phone. A little bit of a rabbit trail, but I was actually listening to a commencement speech by Angela Duckworth yesterday.
Oh, cool.
And she was talking about that someone had referred me to, and it's actually a guest that you have scheduled to come on. So she's going to be awesome. But anyway, so in this commencement speech, she was like, okay, everybody take out your phones. Okay, now take out your phones and actually give it to somebody. I don't care if you know them or not. Give it to somebody. Now that somebody put it under your chair. Because there's a lot of power in, one, not having your phone, but in 2, having it where it's like, not where it's just sitting beside you.
You have to ask someone for it.
It's a conviction, but it's like, okay, I don't even actually really know where it is. There's a lot, because then you're more engaged.
Cool.
And so, but the other thing that she talked about was her mother, 80 years old, is an artist, and she paints this picture. And it was a picture, like a 5 foot by 6 foot picture of Angela Duckworth. And in the picture, it's like of an art gallery. And the art gallery is of all of these statues. And the Angela is, she may be Dr. Duckworth, I don't actually know,
Right.
is in there. But she has her head hunched over, her head down. You can't actually see her face. And she said, and she's holding exactly what you're envisioning that picture. It's these she's amongst the statues. She herself is a statue glaring at her phone. That's why that little little rabbit trail was to talk about the fact that that's one of the reasons that we don't like for people to have phones at the side where they're not seeing what's happening on the mat.
They're not picking up the why that we talk to the instructors about explaining all the time.
Right.
There's so much, right?
Yeah. And so that was a really powerful, because she said it was like so convicting to me to realize I'm missing out on life and your parents are missing out on what is happening on the mats. And so then they're not those ambassadors for you at the sideline. So it all plays together, and it's all has to be intentional. And that first impression, this is the thing. We work so hard for the first impression. We make sure that we have a person that is actually there greeting them.
Right.
That is then is following them. They're their buddy that's following them into class, and they're in that class with them several times. We have one young lady that is really her job. That is what she does. She's the person that's a lot of times scheduling that first lesson. And then she's their point of contact when they come in the door.
Right.
She guides them to the class, shows them where to put their shoes, all of those things.
Right. I kind of want to caveat that too. Of course, our headquarters school is a large school, but their child might have 2 to 3 other instructors that they're working with.
Right, right.
But this one person is like the common point of contact that they can always kind of go back to. Not that they don't get to know the other instructors, but in the beginning, getting to know like 4 people and like, who do I ask? Where do I go for questions? They just have one person, and that's what that first impressions person is about. But a while ago, you were talking about forever, as far back as I remember, whenever I was program directing, people call about classes, you have your normal kind of conversation. And one of the things I always told people is, hey, your time is here, come in about 15 minutes early. We want you to come in and try class because we want you to get to see what we're teaching the kids.
Right.
We want you to see our team operate. And I would love for you to meet, if it's a parent of a kid, meet some of the other parents, exactly what you're talking about. And, get to feel and kind of be a part of that culture. Another thing that popped in my head that I wanted to mention before is we on Facebook have a group. It's our parent-student alumni group.
Right.
And in our parents, so we started a few years ago, and there's, I don't know, over 1,000 people in the group that are parents of current students, or even alumni. If someone leaves, we've had a couple of people leave there was kind of a bad taste, and we might have pulled them out of the group. But most people, we don't. We just leave them in there. They're part of our alumni, part of our past family, whatever. But that group also feeds that people kind of getting to know each other, other people helping answer some of the questions that are common questions, and helping people to connect. And I know that's back to the digital side, and that's not what we want to push here, but it also helps with that as well, I believe.
Yeah, because people, it's part of that looking silly. They don't want to look silly, and they don't want to look dumb. They don't want to look like they don't have any
don't
clue.
Know what's going on.
Right. And they don't even, you want to answer the questions that they're going to have, not wait until they ask the questions, because usually once a person comes up to you and actually asks a question, they've already, they've had to, most people have had to muster a little bit of confidence to step out and actually, admit that they don't know something.
Oh boy.
So we try to really head that off before they even have the question. Like, there's going to be some things, this is new. We expect you to not really understand what's going, the rank structure and all of that. And don't feel, we put that out there first. We don't feel like you don't feel like you need to have every stripe and, time frame and hour requirement, all of those figured out. It's okay.
Right. Absolutely. Well, interestingly, just yesterday, I was at the front counter and someone came up with questions about their child's first potential testing, because we have testing week coming upon us here. And It was kind of a learning opportunity because we had a young person behind the counter helping them. And so I kind of stepped in and helped them a little bit. And the point of it is they needed to know what instructor could sign off their testing ticket, right? And so we require students before they test to ask an instructor for permission and have that instructor sign off. And what that does is guarantees the instructor's kind of guaranteeing that they know their stuff, they've earned their stripes, they have their class time in, but it forces the kid, hopefully, to address a perceived adult, if it's a young instructor, but an adult, someone that, hey, can I, and ask permission. But I was explaining to the young person behind the counter, one of the other instructors was standing there, and I said, hey, will you take her that's asking the question to the correct instructor? And they said, yes, sir. And they took off with her. And the other young person, I said, hey, don't ever, she didn't do this, but I said, don't ever just point someone, hey, go find so-and-so to sign on that ticket. It's a small thing, but they're already uncomfortable asking questions. They're already uncomfortable not knowing. It makes me think of, I'll use Walmart. Walmart's a huge organization, but you go into Walmart and you say, hey, I need X product. And the person looks at you and goes, it's on aisle 49 back there. And you go, okay, I'll go find aisle 49. But you go into stores that may cost a little more,
but
and have a little more highly trained team and a little, I don't want to say a better culture. I don't have a problem with Walmart, but just, they're a little more solid on the culture piece and how they treat people. And you'll ask that question and they'll go, oh, I know right where that's at. Follow me. And they walk you to it. So I know that was a lot, but these are the 1% things that we try to do. We don't just go, people go, where's the restroom? And if it's a lady, a lot of times, and one of the female team members is close by, I'll ask them, hey, do you mind walking her to the restroom? Right. If it's a guy, I'll walk to the door and actually, there's the door for you right there, like take them to where they're going. So I think those things matter as well whenever you're dealing with new people, especially new people, right? And even if they're not, we should always treat people well. But
absolutely. And I think in listening to this, you can kind of go, oh, it's a lot. It is. But then this is the caveat. It's a lot, but once you get a system in place, and we've talked about the importance of systems, the system helps to perpetuate it and helps to keep it rolling and make it so that it's just, you just kind of get into a rhythm, and you're doing those little pieces kind of on autopilot.
Right. So can I throw a thought right here?
Sure.
So you're not wrong. You're hearing this on the other end, possibly going, oh my gosh, there's so much to it. There's also so much to getting out of bed in the morning. And what I mean by that is I've got to know where the light switch is. I've got to wake up and not hit my head on the headboard. I've got to set up with balance. I've got to remember to breathe and not stump my toe, and remember how to open the bathroom door to get into the bathroom. There's a lot to everything we do. Right. But we don't think a whole lot about walking next to a person and having a conversation. We don't think a lot about getting out of bed and walking into the bathroom to start my day. We don't. Why? Because we've done it for a long time, and we have a system, right, and we have muscle memory, right? Right. So what we're talking about may seem like a lot, but if you will discipline yourself to do the hard work now and build those little systems and habits before long, it's just part of the conversation. An example of this for me in my mind is we're a part of the Satori community, Satori group with Hanshi Dave Kovar. There's something called the 8-step progress check. I sing the praises of the 8-step project check every time I get a chance. I love it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is an outline for a conversation. In the beginning, I literally, every time I thought about the 8-step, I had to think, be thankful, ask them what they love, ask them what we can do better. I had to think through every step, right? I have conversations all the time that I walk away from and go, well, I kind of did a little 8-step there, right? It's just muscle memory, right? And in the beginning, when you go, all right, team, I want you to do 8 steps, they're like, 8 steps, go. But once they've done 5, 6, 8, 10, it's no longer 8 steps. Right. It's just a conversation. So I guess the point is, don't be overwhelmed, right? Right. Just dig in and do what others are not willing to do because they are overwhelmed. Right. And be the one that's not, right?
Yeah. And as we, that really kind of pulls me into kind of a thing that whenever I we first started talking about that this was going to be our, making that first impression was going to be our topic for today. The thing that I thought about and I kind of want to close on is that, okay, you do go to this effort for that first impression, and you do go to a lot of effort in encouraging people to get back on the mat if they're out. And it made me think of a time that was like one of those ouch moments of learning. And we had a student that had been out for a long time, and we're messaging them, and different people are, different instructors are messaging them. This was literally probably 20 years ago. This was a long time ago, but it was like a very pivotal lesson. Like, okay, we're talking right now about that first impression. The thing is, not having the first impression can really be a huge change, because this is what happened. We had been we miss you. We're so excited to see you back. They came back and they were like, y'all drove us crazy to get back. We came back and nobody even said hello. Wow. And I was like, oh my word, did we do that? Did we, oh no, I'm sorry. So it matters. Absolutely. It matters. You are on the front end working to get people to come in the door, because once they come in the door and they've bridged that, they've stepped onto the bridge, and then once they try on the mat, usually they're done. They're in. They're like, this is great. Most people. And whenever this person had trained a little bit, had taken a big break, and got them back in the door. And then they didn't feel welcome. Wow. And they felt like it was all on the front, and it was, and that's how they felt. And it was a very, very much of one of those, it shook my box. And like, okay, we are not
in a good way.
Right.
Because
absolutely.
You're kind of like, whoa, that is a whole, that's a 1% we need to work on.
And that was a 12%. But, like, I'd never want somebody to feel that way again. Like, we were really trying to get them in the door, and then they didn't matter. And I never wanted anybody to have that feeling again, because that was absolutely not the intention. Of course, it wasn't the intention, but intentions don't matter. Right. I can intend to make you feel great, but be a complete butt. And, that what
doesn't work.
The way it doesn't work. So making that first impression is huge.
But what a great lesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to touch on one more thing here before we go. I think we've covered a lot of good territory. It's not just the first impression. You've already alluded to that right there, but don't get them past their first 100 days, 90 days, whatever kind of system you have in place, and then just think it's done.
Right.
There has to be constant contact, constant follow-up, and so the first impression is huge. It's very difficult to get a second chance at a first impression, right? But it's not just that. And it really plays exactly into what you're talking about. Don't show them that's like, we love you all up front, and then there's no follow through.
Right.
So that's powerful. So we have to have systems that go all the way through their entire life journey with us, right?
That's right.
Very good. Right. All right. Any last nuggets?
I don't think so. I think we have literally talked about everything, even with our little rabbit trails.
That's right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know what you like and love. Like it, love it, share it. Subscribe, please. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for tuning into the Team Chip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, subscribe, share, and or leave a review, because we need you. We appreciate you so much. And without you, we can't make this happen. Remember, consistency is the key to success. So go out there and never be outworked.